Yo, what's the vibe? Rastunasi back again with another video. Today, as the title suggests, we're going to talk about happiness. What it means to really be happy, what it means to be content. So, I'll start this off by saying a stat that many people are aware of, and that is the fact that suicide rates don't differ between the poor and the rich, meaning people kill themselves in the upper class at the same rate people kill themselves in the lower class. So, I start off this way to show that having access to money and therefore having access to women or men, whichever one you prefer, the fancy restaurants, expensive alcohols, these things clearly bring some level of happiness, otherwise we wouldn't do it. But it seems that clearly this brings instant gratification rather than being something that usually you get drunk on that night, it's nice, by the next morning you're in loads of pain. So you're in loads of pain the next morning, so clearly you decided to enjoy the night so you could suffer later on. And this is where we come down to what true happiness actually is. I am of the belief that true happiness comes from sufferation, comes from sadness, comes from discipline and hard work. In a general sense, for you to understand what it means to be happy. So let's say you're born into a rich family, for example, and you've always had everything at your fingertips. You're going to find that all these things that the poor people think they need to be happy doesn't bring you any type of happiness because you've always had it. You've never experienced what it's like to go without it, so you don't have the experience to miss it. You don't have the experience, therefore, to enjoy it, since you now do have it, because you don't know what it is like to be without it. So what do we know? We know the world works in balance, meaning for every up, there's a low. For every high, there's a low. So for every happiness, there is sadness as well. Now we also know there are two types of sadness, or two types of happiness, sorry. We have the instant happiness, that's usually followed with delayed sadness, and we have delayed happiness, which is probably going to be preceded by instant sadness or instant pain in some way. So within 3 minutes, I've already broken it down for you. Delayed gratification versus instant gratification, or the pain of regret versus the pain of discipline. These are the things one should consider in every single moment you're trying to make a choice. Whenever you think of, what do I do here? What do I need to do here? You should always be thinking, what is going to cause me a bit of trouble and a bit of pain and a bit of struggle now? But long term, I'll be better off for it. And you should also be considering, what am I seeking to do now that is keeping me happy and comfortable, that probably is going to make me have some form of negative outcome long term. And if you consider these things in every time you need to make a type of decision, and you actually end up choosing your long-term happiness over the short-term happiness, you'll end up finding you have a much more based and foundation when it comes to where your happiness comes from. These are the people that can have really bad days and smile through it and be happy that they have just life itself. Life is enough for them to be happy, regardless of if the worst things in the world, they've lost their job, they've lost their house. These are the people that have true happiness. However, the people that constantly seek instant gratification, what you'll come to find is when things get difficult, they can't cope. And it's because they're used to having what they want now and trying to just suffer for it later on. But what you'll come to find is, regardless of you suffering later on, you're going to have to make up for what you didn't do anyways. But I'm not going to rally on. This is going to be a really short video just to quickly let you think about things when you're making decisions. My face is swollen. I've got a toothache. It ain't a good day for me, but I can still smile and I can still do what I need to do. That's been Rastunasi signing out. Like, share, subscribe.